To discuss what the markets hold from now on, we are joined by a very well-known market analyst. Ms. Devina Mehra joins us on the show. She is the founder and CMD of First Global. Namaste Devina ji, a very warm welcome. What a wonderful smile. Is this a smile that is a harbinger of good things on Dalal Street? We've had terrible first 6 months of trade. How are you watching sentiment? I hope this is a harbinger of good things.
नमस्ते शैल और आपके दर्शकों को भी नमस्ते. As far as the market is concerned, I mean, my view has been that overall the sentiment has been so negative. I mean, for the first time, I see my fellow fund managers no longer selling the India growth story. Abhi sab log risk ginwa rahe hain, no? Everybody is enumerating the risks. And sentiment is a contra-indicator. So this is not my opinion. This is research studies all across the world, not just India and US, but wherever they've been done on whichever continent, the conclusion is the same, that when sentiment is very negative, the next period returns are below normal. When sentiment is very positive, as it was for the first 8 months of, let's say, 2024, then the next period returns are below normal. It's a probability game. I'm not saying that I know what the index will be a year from now, but probability wise, it is that it should do better. In terms of the market itself, you would have noticed that the market breadth has been broadening. So
absolutely,
if you look at 2025, it was a very narrow market. So calendar 25, most of our Indian indexes were up 5-6% or so, but the average stock was down. The median stock was down. 40% of the stocks were down more than 10%. And in normal markets, you see something like a 40% stocks outperforming. At kind of one point in 2025, only 10 to 15% stocks were outperforming. So it was that narrow. So now that that is expanding, which is a good sign. In terms of valuations, I don't think, if you go sector by sector, because there's no point looking at index valuation, because the index composition itself changes so much. You go back 20-25 years, at one point there weren't banks in the index. I mean, it's hard to believe now when they are the highest weightage, or PSUs at one point used to dominate. So if you look, but sector by sector, the valuations are not at extremes. So I don't see, big. In many cases, they are below average. PE ratios of certain sectors are below average. Yes, Shall, you were saying.
What I agree with you completely is how the broadening of the market is happening. The kind of sectors that keep on popping up on a lot of statistical methods is very surprising at a time when, pretty much everybody in India and in the rest of the world has written an obituary for Dalal Street that nothing much is expected here, and money will flow out, and we are to be blamed for our own ills and sorrows, so on and so forth. We've seen this time earlier, and this too shall pass. But what are you making out specifically of this broadening of the market? What could be the possible reasons?
I mean, actually, that market being so narrow was the aberration. As I said, normally 40% or so of stocks do outperform. That's the long-term average. So that 10-15% was the aberration. But you are right that the world is just there's that thing that the opposite of love is not hate; it is indifference. So a couple of weeks ago, Wall Street Journal did an article on emerging markets, and some they were positive on, some they were negative on, or whatever. But India didn't find a mention at all in the entire article. So you are like forgotten.
क्योंकि आप लखनऊ से हैं और ये आपसे बेहतर कोई समझेगा नहीं. कुछ तो है हम में कि हमारी हस्ती मिटती नहीं. 30-35 साल से तो मैं ही देख रहा हूँ that whenever a global obituary on India is written, 3 things happen. 1, people have to eat crow. 2, the markets rebound very sharply, and everybody and his mother makes very serious money. Now tell us, How have
एक चीज और मैं बोलना चाहूंगी, if you look at the narrative of why India is not doing well, see what happens is that whatever is happening, market is going up or down, you will find a neat little story to fit it. So right now the story is that India is not doing well because India does not have an AI play, or if you want to speak in consultant speak, India does not have an innovation story. That's how you put it. But all the people telling you this are saying that only thing that is running are all those companies that are big in AI. But that the Magnificent Seven, as it used to be called, it's still called in the US, which is the big seven tech companies: Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon, Apple, Tesla. They were driving the S&P. I mean, but that was 2024 story when they accounted for 50% of the 55% or so of the S&P. Last year, it came down to 40%, but more importantly, five of those companies underperformed. It was only Google and Nvidia that drove it. This year, it has been Google and Amazon. And the important thing is that even in the US, the story has moved elsewhere. This year, the small cap index of the US Russell 2000 has done 2.5 times the returns that S&P has given. And every single sector in that index is positive. So that is that's the perspective that is missing. And even when it obviously, the energy companies have done well, and they started doing well actually before the conflict, the Exxons and the Chevrons. But even things like Johnson and Johnson, Costco, real old economy companies are doing well. And even in that information technology, it is not the companies that are investing in AI. But because they're investing so much in AI, it is all their suppliers that are going up. Semiconductor equipment, even old-time electronic companies like Dell, the old-time networking companies have come back out of the blue. So it's a whole different story. But the problem is right now, a lot of people who are selling kind of global products because they've set up a gift city structure do not have the depth even to analyze history. I'm not even talking what will happen. I'm talking this is what has happened, but they are still telling you the story that was true in 2024. So, India also, it is not as if that if you don't have AI, you have nothing. So that is not the way to look at it. That's
दिव्या
the
जी, ये मैंने बहुत देखा है कि अगर आप कम दिमाग लगाएं बाजार में तो ज़्यादा पैसे बनते हैं, और सबसे बढ़िया तरीका है सॉर्ट ऑल रिटर्न्स इन अ सिंगल एक्सेल शीट. जो नीचे वाले 5 हैं वो 18 महीने बाद चलेंगे, जो ऊपर वाले 5 हैं बस भगवान का नाम लीजिए उनके लिए. अच्छा, अब बताइए, अब मेरे को बताइए कि यहाँ से हमें क्या करना है. ब्रॉडली आई थिंक about 70% of the pain that we saw is out of the market. 30% बचा है. अब यहाँ से कहाँ पैसा डाला जाए भारतीय बाजारों में?
देखिए, सबसे पहली बात तो ये है, which I repeat on your channel, I must have always said it, that don't put 100% in equity, but whatever is your equity allocation, remain invested. Because हाँ, होता ये है कि आप गलत टाइम पे एंटर करते हो और गलत टाइम पे एग्जिट करते हो from the market or even from a particular strategy or whatever. I'll give you an example. So a lot of your viewers must have read or at least heard of this One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch. Now, he was a very successful fund manager in the US. So the fund that he was managing compounded something like, I think, 28 or 29%. And that was the highest return mutual fund, I think, ever in US history. But the average investor in that fund compounded only 7%, and a whole lot of them actually lost money. Lost money in the best performing mutual fund scheme ever because they entered at the wrong time and exited at the wrong time. बड़ा outperformance आया एक साल तो you entered. Next year there was an underperformance and you exited. So don't do that kind of stuff. So as long as you're following a sensible process, remain invested, because no one has this. No one. I cannot tell you. You cannot say it. Nobody in the market can tell you what will be the equity market return in 1 year or 2 years. So equity would be money you don't need to look at for 7-8 years. It doesn't mean that you remain invested in the same stocks for 7, 8 years. That's a whole different thing. So, I mean, we, for example, look at our portfolio from base zero every quarter. That if we had cash today, where would we be invested? And that is to get rid of certain inherent biases in your thinking, that where you do want to hold on to whatever you are holding on to, you value it more highly than you should. Something called an endowment bias. So, I mean, but of course, it's not as if every quarter the whole list changes, but that's a discipline. So, last almost more than 2 years, actually, we've been overweight auto components to an extent, autos and pharma. So, that still continues. I mean, surprisingly, we thought in this rebalance, maybe it may not look as good, but still, I mean, more companies, in fact, came up in these same sectors. One sector which also is throwing up little more companies is industrial machinery, capital goods, especially power equipment. So overall, the power sector, maybe because of all the data center demand or whatever, is beginning to look better. So both power utilities and power equipment. Otherwise, there are always bottom-up picks in FMCG, in chemicals, and so on. So that's broadly where we are right now. And we do not believe in very concentrated sector bets. So you will never have 40% in a single sector or something like that. But this is the broad
Uh,
areas.
Ma'am, when you talk about rebalancing every quarter, this was within First Global. When was it last done?
So we just almost finished it, just about, we do it every quarter. So, the data comes in. So we did it in this month itself.
Correct. So the reason why I ask is because I see industrial machinery and cap goods and power, and it's absolutely right. I mean, some of these rallies and some of these gains have been fantastic in the month of May.
Yeah.
Devinaji, when you look at how within this rebalancing, the private sector banking is coming up, PSU banks have also come up. Pharma has been a blowout in the month of May, mainly because of rupee depreciation. Given the way how forward covers are moving on the rupee, do you think this pharma bet has more steam?
So pharma for us, as I said, we have been overweight since beginning of 24. So it had a good run in 24, kind of was treading water for 25, didn't do that much in 25. But we had more domestic oriented stocks. So now we do have some exports, but it is not completely an export bet. So it's kind of a mix. And I was I mean, you talked of rupee depreciation. I was just looking at a clip of a podcast I did in February 25, which was on global investing. At that time, the rupee was 86 rupees. And since then, I was looking at our global product, which is not a high risk product at all. It is all geographies, all assets. So it's not even equity only. It has still returned almost 25% in dollar terms and 35% in rupee terms. So, I mean, right now, so don't do things in a knee-jerk fashion. Ki abhi India has not done for the for the last 1 year, so now let me go global. And then, next year India does well. Oh, why did I go global? So that, do a proper asset allocation, and global should also be a big part uh, of your investing. I always give this data that when I started working, the dollar was 12 rupees. So you can't do financial planning without accounting for the fact that this is how the rupee behaves. So 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, if you are saving for those goals, you cannot forget this. So that's the big picture. So getting the big picture right is the more important thing, rather than exactly ye stock liya ki wo stock liya. That's the whole point.
Ma'am, in our case, most of our viewers and most Indians are domestically oriented. Uh, what is the
That is
big?
that's a cause for me that should change. I mean, the
Yes,
liberalized remittance scheme has been around for 2 decades. 20
yes.
साल हो गए. So,
But
So
a lot of
don't
people,
act
a
there.
lot of people have invested in, Nasdaq ETFs. You know, these are very popular products. They've made supernormal money there as well. Many mutual funds have launched lots of geographically focused funds. For instance,
Yeah, but
in
that is again, that's the problem. That's why, I mean, just as in India, we do a base zero allocation. No, in globally also, global is not the US. I mean, right now our global products have less than 40% in US equity. And our last rebalance, we added countries like Mexico and Malaysia, which are not even on anyone's radar, I think. See, the problem again is that it is not just true of the investors, it is also true of the fund houses that oftentimes the products are launched simply because that's where they can gather assets. Not because that's the best time to invest in those products. In fact, I was looking at all the Gift City global products. I mean, unfortunately, most of them have done terribly. I mean, for if you look at
ma'am,
6 months, 1 year.
uh, we
So
we will leave that discussion for some
for the
other day.
other time. Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
But I'm just saying that like that is the thing. So I mean, your
See, in
viewers
our
should also
case,
know
huh,
globally.
in
Because
our
India
case,
is now less than 3% of the world market cap. That's the data. So
see,
there's no reason why 100% or 90% of your investment should be here.
I just wanted to keep this discussion very simple from the point of view of practicality of investments. All of us have this idea about the US economy for various reasons, whether it is Hollywood, whether our cousins working there, we have a fair idea. And by and large, Indians who have invested in US focused funds in India in rupees have made a lot of money. That is true, right? Now, I want to understand from you, from your previous question when you talked about the broader picture, what is the broader picture in India? We know the negatives. हर पेपर में वही दिन भर चलता रहता है, 3-4 महीने से वही पढ़ रहे हैं. I want to understand from you, as a long term watcher of the Lal Street, as an investor globally, what is India as a percentage of your portfolio? उससे पता चलेगा.
See, India has for a long time not never been more than 20% of my portfolio. And that too mostly because you hold some things historically. So, they are still there. So, I mean, if I had to do an allocation today, I would probably not even have that. As I told you, the world's, as a percentage of the world market cap, it used to be 4.5 plus. Now it is, I think, 2.7% or so the last time I saw. So, but of course, I mean, from here, it can go up. I'm not saying, 2.7 ka 2.7 hi reh jayega, but that is the thing that's the landscape. That's why I was talking global. I mean, we can all keep talking India because we've always talked India, but that's not the right advice that you should be all in on India. And you should not. I mean, again, as you kept saying, US, but US is not the world. We have been underweight US for about a year and a half now, and we've continued to go further underweight. So that's not the world. So that's
Now,
the other turn.
you
Because
have
if you remember the last time ये सब Nasdaq funds आए थे, that was 2021, and in 2022 they were down 40% and people were panicking and a lot of people exited. So
ma'am,
that
I see. I should not be, taking sides of people who even switch funds on a 2-3 year basis. वो भी उसमें भी पैसा नहीं बनता. I am looking
the
at
SEBI data shows more than 50% of the investors don't remain invested for even 2 years for a single
मैम
scheme.
वो
That's the SEBI
अपने
data.
वो अपने पैर पे
Majority
कुल्हाड़ी
of
मार.
the people.
मेरी बात सुनिए, देखिए,
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
हमें हमें उन लोगों को पैसा बनवाना है who are sensible. You and I cannot change the psychology of the people who want to get in and out of mutual funds on whims and fancies and indices making record highs and record lows. We are looking at sensible people who would like to invest money
Right.
in the long term and make 15-17% CAGR. Basic baat. ठीक है. Now, with this background in mind, what are the sectors you have mentioned? Industrial machinery, capital goods, power, auto and pharma. Anything else that catches your eye? Maybe domestic IT has bottomed out. Maybe banks are at a risk because of interest rate hikes around the corner. Maybe, FMCG might be looking good. What is that broader view for India?
See, first of all, whatever I tell you may not hold 6 months or 1 year later. So, with that caveat, uh, banks, I must have said it on your channel also that I'm a very nervous investor in banks.
Correct.
Last year and a half, uh, uh, we have not been as underweight banks as we used to be. So we have been closer to the market weight, though not overweight ever. And we started adding PSU banks. So towards the end, we also added some private sector banks. But I'm actually getting quite nervous. It's been a long time to have this much weightage in banks. I'm normally very underweight. But 2025, the real call was that if you looked at the 5 years prior to 25, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, the bank Nifty hugely underperformed, barring 1 year, which was 2022. So it was just due for some performance. But that's not that may not last forever. I mean, right now we have not really cut banking, but definitely that is something I'm watching. And FMCG, yes, we do have companies there. We may not be overweight, but I think we must be around market weight. IT, I think, the obituary has been written too many times of Indian IT. So it started Y2K, that after Y2K they won't have work. Once SaaS, that software as a service started, now, they will get disintermediated. Digitization, cloud, all these were supposed to be the end of Indian IT. So I don't think, that is correct. I mean, these companies, while I have problems with the fact that they never moved up the value chain, within their defined thing, they can pivot and, move on. Now, if you look at AI also, I mean, there have been research studies showing that if you kind of hand over the keys to AI, there was a research paper called Agents of Chaos. I mean, they really create chaos. They've wiped out databases, they've wiped out systems, they've lied. They will tell you, I've done this but without doing it. So it's like a bad employee. So, I mean, no chief technology officer or CEO is going to hand over the keys to AI. So somebody has to be between the AI and the enterprise, and that somebody has to be IT services. So those roles will come about. What I'm a little more worried about is that IT and IT related services, and also then the whole ecosystem around that, real estate, security guard, food delivery. That's been the engine for India's employment for the last 25 years. And that may not be the case, at least in the short term. I mean, maybe after 2, 3 years. I mean, that's what NASSCOM is actually estimating, that it will be a J curve in employment. Thoda kam hoga and then it will accelerate, which might well happen. But, for me, the concern more than for IT services is a more macro concern for India, that we don't have many employment engines.
Fair point. You and I have often debated on bond yields, and now even the longer term end, which is 30-year bond yields in Japan and the US, are showing signs of strength beyond 5%. If they weren't there, then Mr. Trump would probably be sitting in Tehran. What is your gut feel? Are the days of modest bond yields 2%, 3% now forever gone?
See, for US, it's kind of an very important thing. So if I was just looking at, obviously, the 10-year yield, if you look at, is, at least before this, nowadays, every day, according to what the news, something changes. So I haven't looked at what happened just like last 2 days, but it was at a 10-year high. And it was more or less where it was 20 years ago, 2006, 7.
Yes.
But since then, the US indebtedness has almost doubled. So there is a quote of this Bill Clinton's advisor, which I have posted often, which said that, if there is reincarnation, I thought I'd like to come back as the Pope or the President, but now I've decided that I'd like to come back as the bond market. You can intimidate everyone. So whether it was Trump tariffs or whether it is the deal with Tehran, as soon as the, bond yields go beyond a certain point, the president says, ouch, and, and there is change. So, obviously their whole objective is not to let it go out of hand. So let's see how that plays out. I mean, this Iran thing was just, आप एक तरह से बोलिए तो self goal था, मतलब you had no business starting this war in the first place. So you just, I still cannot figure out what the game was, why you started the bombing in the first place. And now you're saying that the objective is to get the Straits of Hormuz open. They were open in February.
मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहता हूँ, the US might try as hard it can to tamp down bond yields for the short term. But we know for a fact that when the bill of an economic disaster comes, it comes. There is no stopping that. We've seen that happen in Japan. 30 years the market went off everybody's radar. Now, is the US, because of its indebtedness and all the other political issues that are there, have these bond yields come out of that proverbial box that now you can't put them back again?
We are there, but on the markets, yes, in the US, especially the sectors that were doing well, I think the risks are increasing because it's been a long period of outperformance for the US. So that is why I always say global is not the US, because they've in the past also there have been long periods when the US has underperformed the rest of the world, like 2003 to 2007, and when it wasn't even coming off a high, it was already down after the tech crash. But that was, those 4.5 years were magic for emerging markets. India went up 6 times. The whole emerging market index went up 3.5, 4 times. And then again, the stories follow. Then the stories were that now US is over, and BRICS was coined at that time. Then the US started outperforming again. Then the stories were forgotten. So always remember, the stories follow what's happening in the market. It's not the other way around. So, the risk have been increasing, especially in certain segments in the US market. So, as I said, but now, as of now, the old economy companies have kind of picked up the slack. And as far as the AI itself is also concerned, I don't think it is like now and if in my mind, it's a when. That when this bubble bursts, that in the sense that all the money going into AI is not going to earn economic rates of returns. I'm quite clear that nearly $1 trillion of investment will not, this year itself, will not have economic rates of return. So there's going to be turmoil on all those fronts.
Right. मैम, अगर आपको AI का बबल बर्स्ट करना है ना, तो किसी भी एक AI एजेंट को take a monthly subscription. The thing will stop working immediately. So that's the way to burst the AI bubble. It's my own personal experience. 6 महीने I have tried all very good artificial AI software. They worked wonderfully. I chose one, paid money, it stopped working. It wants more money now, every single day. So that's a different story. But the other thing I wanted to understand from you is that as far as Dalal Street are concerned, are we in the market which is of the 90s vintage? Smokestack companies are working, pharma is working. When you look at Gainard's list, आपको कोई नया नाम नहीं दिखता. आपको सब पुराने नाम दिखते हैं, Century Textiles, Century Rayon, those kind of names.
So, I had not noticed that.
Yes. So what I'm trying to say is that this broad basing of rally has actually brought our past back.
You said broad basing rally. I mean, your voice is cracking a bit. So
I'm saying
broad basing of rally
has brought our past back.
Right.
These names are of 25-year vintage. So you have, when you talk about industrial machinery and capital goods, you will see the Kirloskars of the world. You will see the ABBs, the Thermaxes of the world. These were listings of the 1990s, if not earlier. My point is that do we do away with the new economy in India?
So why do you want some novelty? I mean, that's okay. I mean, that if it is old established companies coming back, I don't see it as a negative. And capital goods, industrial machinery, we actually went overweight first time in October
Yes.
21.
Yes. Yes.
And that
Fair.
was after a 12-year period when these were the absolute dog companies. The sector compounded 2% from 2009 to 21. And ours, I think, was the only fund who actually started buying then. Most people discovered it late 23 when it had gone up 3 times, 4 times, because the human fund manager, uh, is carries the story in their head that ये तो बेकार है, इसको देखना ही नहीं है. These are like not worth looking at. That's why the system forces you to look at facts.
Yes.
That's why
Yes.
we
Yes.
use a human plus machine system, because the machine forces you to look at facts. So,
Yeah.
that this has changed. I mean, is there any reason to overrule it, or do you go with it? So that's the whole thing. That's fine. I mean, that there are always cycles that, and what else will come? I mean, your new listings have all been in the quote unquote new age companies, which are uh, which while they you say it's tech companies, they're really, either direct to consumer companies or they are platforms. So they're not really the moat is not their tech. It's not, that's not their uh, thing. It's like building a consumer brand, which is what they have done. So they're not, in terms of the new kind of sectors coming in, that's been the, I think, only significant one. Can you think of anything else?
No, not for the moment. And my PCR has been repeatedly telling me that we've gone past time, although I wanted to discuss this industrial
Okay.
phase and capital goods and power ancillary space much more in detail with you. But I will have to listen to my PCR and unwillingly bid you goodbye, Devinaji. As always, it's such a pleasure listening to you. And let's hope that, the time cycle works in favor of the Lal Street for the remainder of 2026 and ahead. We've seen many, many bad days, many, many bad years, and let's hope that they are behind us. Thank you for your time. I
Thank
look
you.
forward
Thank
to
you.
meeting you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was Ms. Devina Mehra, founder and CMD at First Global. A very well-known PMS is what she runs, and I hope you found her views interesting just as I did. Please continue with Business Today Television. Lots of interesting things happening.